record, but if I forget, please let me know. There are a couple items that I have on the agenda, but if you guys can think of what items you might want, please think about them and either type them in the chat box or when I ask for them, you can speak up. So one of the questions that came up at the membership meeting was to change this meeting time because a lot of you don't want to meet in the afternoon on a Friday when you could all be having fun. So one of the suggestions was to change this meeting and the Sugar Advisory Group meeting. Just switch the two meetings. I know not everybody could make that, but I'd like to get your feedback on changing the meeting to Fridays at 9:30 to 10:30. Suzanne says yes, 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 yes. There are 5 of yeses. So we got 5 votes already, all from Suzanne. Yes, Holly? Sure. Okay. Amy, yes. Judy says yes. Nicole, it's good for either way. Sure. Okay. Somebody has to do a really no large if, because we already have like 20 yeses. Okay. So I will send out an announcement switching those 2 meetings for next week. Thank you all for participating in this very official poll. Sharon wanted me to remind you that the funding stream enhancements, MOU, everything will be out by June 17th. The instructions will be out before that date. So, on June 18th is when you could be doing MOUs. Are there any questions on that? It's just an announcement. I don't hear any questions. I don't see any questions. So oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Rick, it's Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
I was just curious how things are looking from your end in terms of applications and what your expectations might be across the state in terms of numbers and that.
I'm thinking about the answer. I am seeing applications in, but I have not run a report. That's a good idea, a report like by all councils or something like that.
The entire state, all those funding streams to see what it looks like.
I'll let you know. I'm going to add that to next, so I'll look at that. Funding streams.
And I think especially compared to last year, which is an interesting one too.
Okay. Okay, so thank you, Lisa. It's a great question. If you have an agenda item for this week, go ahead and type it in the chat box or speak up and I will type it down here. Okay, we got one item in here is CCAP changes. Do we have any info on the home provider number changes for eligibility? Okay, any other? I can answer that while anybody else has items. The rule has gone from 3 to 8 or more, and that is true for home providers as well as for, for child care centers. And the rationale that I've heard for that is just to have a higher impact on the centers that have more CCAP children. Does anybody else have any additional information on that?
I think, Rick, it also had to do with expanding it to farther into the state.
Yes.
And so the money was spread more broadly, so that was the other challenge. I think locally, it sounds like some of us still have the first question.
Other CCAP changes?
About child care homes.
What do you mean? Again?
I think initially when the money was spread more broadly across the state, they needed to do some projections, and it seemed like it was going to be a better fit to choose sites that had 8 or more children on the CCAP subsidy. It just sounds like a few of us may have a question in regards to family child care home providers, because with rare exception, you've eliminated their option for this funding.
Right.
With that number. So I think maybe our question is, on a local basis, if we have a reason, is there a potential that we could ask our state quality support person and plead a case for a provider or something?
Well, as far as I understand, you can always ask.
I'm sure. And so maybe the question really is, do we have any ability to pull in family child care providers at a lower number if we have the capacity to serve them and the funds to allocate to them? I don't know who asked the question. Maybe they want to speak up more than me guessing.
So are you talking in general or just on a case-by-case basis?
I think it's either.
Okay.
But I do think maybe the question was more in general. When it was asked, I took it to a case-by-case basis, but maybe it was really in general.
This is Sharon. I think, we had asked that question, and I think that there was a real emphasis on that higher number of CCAP children, but that the state is generally willing and interested in hearing about specific sites. So I guess if you have a few home providers that you're interested in supporting, you might want to kind of consolidate that into one email request and maybe send along a little justification on why they could or should be supported in the program. And then there is a setting on the account record that you can set that allows them to see and access the application then at that point.
So Sharon, are you saying that we can make that determination, or we do need to run that by the state first?
No, I think you need to submit that as a request.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thanks.
Any other comments on that item? Did I capture the thought okay on my Word document? Here's a bar graph report of apps compared to last year. So do you want to take control, Sharon, or you say here's a bar graph, a report of apps compared to last year, applications by status bar?
Yeah, let me see if I can get you the actual HTML link. Sorry, I thought it would copy in. Oh. Now you can try it.
Okay.
And so this is one of those reports where if Rick or I pull it up, then it's the whole state. But if you pull it up, then it's just going to be specific to your grants. So that might be interesting for you to have. And this is from last year. It's just been updated to include It's split between 2016 and 2017, so you can see that based on the end date of the grant. So all of the Race to the Top QI applications are included in the 2017 end date, since that was extended to 2017.
Oh, okay. So yeah, this sort of, on my screen, it's like dark orange is the 1201 RTQI versus the school readiness is 454 versus 171. The CCAP is 300 versus 89 right now. And then ITQA is 311 versus 138. And the name of the report, I'm going to go back up, that is called Applications by Status Bar. Right, Sharon?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
There's a lot more comments, so I'm going to scroll back up. Okay. Got a thanks. I got the, okay. So are we able to support a home provider that is currently doing the CCAP grant, again, next grant cycle grandfathered in? Does someone have an answer to that question?
Do we happen to have anyone from the state on the line? Don't think we do. Well, so I think my understanding is basically that anything that's outside of the parameters of the 8 or more mean CCAP enrollment do need special approval to be considered for participation in the CCAP program. So if you have a specific site or group of sites that you'd like to have participate and you believe you have sufficient budget for it, then you just need to submit a special request and see if that is supportable.
But isn't this asking, you know, they're currently doing a CCAP grant this year, and is it for next year?
Yes, but since the grant has been expanded to more councils, I think it's sort of a different criteria for eligibility, and so that just needs special approval. Okay,
so it's the same answer as the one before. Even though they had a CCAP grant because they had less than 8 but more than 3, then they'll still have to get special approval.
I think so. That's probably taking a pretty conservative approach, but I think it would be better to always get approval if it's outside of something that is in the written guidance.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Suzanne, does that make sense to you? I'm attempting to follow instructions. Next one is I'm attempting to follow instructions for a mass upload of the communication efforts we've done in the past. Is there a way we can walk through this? Do I simply need to send a support email? Yes, I've been doing the mass updates for a couple people. So send a support email of the providers to me. There are instructions, but I can help you through that directly. So if anybody else needs this, why don't you let me know in the screen, in the chat screen? Because I don't want to take up everybody's time if we only, since some people it works for fine. Okay, we got some answers for that. The home care providers, darn, yes, thank you. Lilith says it might be helpful. I need this, Teresa. I need this. Oh, okay, we got multiple people needing the mass upload of communication. So let's see if I can find it on our site. This will be a really good test. So I went to the support site and I'm on the home page, and the information is under this outreach and enrollment of providers. Step 1, outreach to providers. So I am going to click on that, and there are 2 parts to this: recording outreach. Okay, so the guide will walk you through recording outreach in Sugar. I'm going to look at the, let's see, how long is this? Doesn't look, well, let's see. I'm going to go back up. Well, you guys can watch along. I am going to go through this since that's the only other thing that's on the agenda. I don't know if, let's see.
Councils are now required to inform 100% of licensed providers in your county about quality improvement.
Can you guys hear the screen? Nope. Nope. Okay. So I am going to stop the video. Okay. So what the video at the start of this will walk you through visibly, but we'll just follow the steps right here, and the video gives you the same information. Does that sound okay? Okay. All right. So the major note for this overview, thanks Amy for responding. I can count. Oh good, Michelle said yep. Okay, Teresa said yep. So again, if you don't need to do this mass update, you're free to leave. I'm guessing that it's going to take us at least the 6 minutes that went through the video, but we can see the video again, and I am recording this. So if there are questions, we can certainly pause, and it will be a little bit more interactive if you guys let me know something you don't understand. So the main part of this is the councils are required to inform licensed providers about quality improvement. So 100% of your licensed providers in your counties, you should let know when there is a new opportunity for quality improvement grants and other activities. Okay, the activities, you can record it in Sugar, and we'll walk you through the steps. There are 3 types of communication you can record. So we can do the in-person, call, and email. Okay, and essentially what people have been doing for me is either for a call or an email that they make a whole bunch of them. They will record one, and then they'll send me a list of all the providers, and I do a mass update in order to say that you've contacted many people. And for some councils, it can be like 300 emails that are sent out, and it would take you forever to record each one. So it's nice to record one. How and where? Katie says, that's what I don't understand. How and where do you record one? Okay, so that's what we're going to get. We'll do that. Okay, so you can access the communications page to log outreach to individual providers in 2 different ways. You can do it through your provider account and go to the communications subpanel and click plus, or you can do the communications menu. I'll do the first one that has the screen. So see, this is the account. Let's see, I'm going to see if there are better steps. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to the accounts page. I'll use our friend Bill. And so I'm going to go to this Bill's child care provider. Okay, so I'm at the top of it right now. what I need to do is scroll down until I get to the communications area. See, there's the notes, meetings, tasks, provider sites, emails, contacts, help desk, documents, provider applications, coaching details, pooled requisitions, provider requisitions, spending, classrooms, classroom sessions, registrant funding streams, QIP goals, QRS applications. Did I miss it? Okay. Probably under emails. Let me go back in the notes. Okay. Lilith says it's in calls. It's okay. Here are the calls. Okay, so Nicole is saying, Katie is saying contracts. Lilith is saying that's where I record mine. It gives you the option to record as an email or a call. So we'll do it in calls, is where they refer to the communication in the account. Okay, so I'm in calls. Thank you all for your help. You're great at providing help. So I'm over on the right side, clicking the plus sign. I've never recorded a call. I've only done the mass update, so this is great. So, Katie, would you mind unmuting and walk me through an example? Are you able to, Katie? Oh, you don't have access to sound. Okay, that's all right. Go ahead and type. So I'll ask you the question. You just type in the answer. Okay, so for the subject, so we're in Bill's record. So, okay, it's going to be an email. So that's down in communication purpose. Whoops, I'm sorry. Contact type is email. Lilith, I should have you do this. But that's all right. It's good since I don't know how. Maybe I won't. Okay, so can you give me a subject, Katie? Colorado Shines reapplication. I'm trying to move the GoToMeeting screen so it doesn't in the way of all this. So, okay. Outbound. We could probably leave that blank, but like if you were doing a phone call, you could do left voicemail, need to call back, etc. But since it's an email, we can leave that blank. Communication, what's the purpose, do you think, Katie? If you look at this, which status, the outbound, oh yeah, the status is, has an asterisk. So we'll go ahead and put contact made, since it's an email. Duration, by default, it has 15 minutes. Okay. See, these with an asterisk are the ones that you are required, and Lilith caught me on that. So Lilith is great. Thank you. So I'm guessing that would be spending outreach. Does that sound good? Okay. Thank you, Katie. Primary funding stream. Oh, race to the top? Okay. Okay, we could put a secondary purpose if you wanted to, but because it doesn't have the little red asterisk, it's not required. You could also put a second funding stream. Okay, bulk communication. If you're going to do multiple ones, you could say yes. And it's interesting, some people will go ahead and put yes for me, bulk import completed. Others don't. But what this does is I'm supposed to double check this at the end to make sure that it's, so you can go ahead and put yes, that will be fine. And internal notes, Katie, I'm going to just go ahead and type something and then I'll copy and paste it. Okay, email sent to providers currently working with us to step through application process. Okay, and then communication summary for funders. If you could type something there. Anything that you want the funders to know specifically about this. Should also be what you said in the subject. Okay. Carlos Shine, that's a good idea. Lilith. Or we can do the continuing quality improvement plans. I'll put both. Okay, doesn't look like there's any other asterisks or anything that I need to cover. Any questions before I hit save? Okay, I'm hitting save. Okay, and oh, Nicole had a question. This spot confuses me as well. What do they expect for funders? I think we got at least one funder on the line. Michelle, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
See, I caught you. Do you have anything specific you like in that communication for funders?
The only thing I can think of is just defining what grant that it's under. I don't really see any other specific funders that would need to be listed on there.
Yeah, since we already have a field for the grant, does that really matter?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so they can really type in what they want. So like one person suggested quality improvement, continuing quality improvement plans, and then using what was in the subject was Colorado Shines reapplication. So those type of things are okay. I mean, because we do have that race to the top.
Yeah, and I think that's important because some of this is going to be, now that we're going to be going into the second year, that especially those with Race to the Top that had funding through level 2 going to level 3 through 5, and now they'll be receiving additional funds for level 3 through 5. That would be good to distinguish that in that area, so that they know that this is the second round of Race to the Top for that program.
Okay, so in that, if it's the second round for that provider?
Yeah, if it's the program's second round for Race to the Top.
That would be helpful.
The other thing the other thing is maybe tracking how many years the program's been in SRQIP, since there's a limit of 6 years. that might be helpful as well, just that it's noted in several places so that they know how much longer a program can qualify for that.
Oh, Katie has a very good question, very good point though, because we're doing a mass update right now,
Mm-hmm.
and so this wouldn't be the same for every program.
Right, it would probably be different.
Yeah.
That's where it would be up to the councils to individualize how they want to define that.
Okay. So
I mean, I'm just making suggestions. These aren't set in stone. These are just suggestions of what could be.
okay. So if they wanted to go back in and add more comments, especially if it's a special case. Yes, Katie, you
Right.
go back in and edit it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, this whole system is a tracking system for you guys to keep track of what how you're spending this money, and so put the notes in there that you need to put in there so that the system is utilized to your needs.
Yes, I totally.
Yeah. This is Sharon. I just wanted to mention for SRQIP, under the QI Programs tab on the account record, there is an SRQIP eligibility field, and there is an item that says eligible but timed out, which means that they would have been in the program for more than 6 years. So that's kind of one way of tracking that. And then under the Overview tab, there is a notes field that you can use at your discretion as well.
Yeah, you're talking about this part right here?
Yes.
Okay.
And then if you scroll up, there's a QI Programs tab.
So right over here is QI Programs.
And then SRQIP eligibility about midway through the screen. This site happens to be ineligible, but if you click on that and edit, there is a eligible but timed out, which means that they've been in the program for more than 6 years.
Okay. Does that automatically populate?
That has been updated. We received from Quan at the state a listing of all the sites that were timed out, and that was imported into the system.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That should be correct. If you need to override that, just double check with the state before you override that to make sure that that program is truly eligible, or if there's a special case for some reason why they should be eligible when they're not when they've been in it for 6 years. Just make sure you include the name of the provider and their license number in that request.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you wouldn't normally change this SRQIP as a council, but if there was a question, then you could contact the state.
Correct.
Okay. Katie has a question. I do want to clarify, though, before we get too far away from it, you're simply picking one provider out of a huge list and putting that one in as a sample, and then referencing it in when you send in the request. Exactly, Katie, you got it.
And as a quick tip, you might want to sort the list alphabetically and then just use the first provider on the list. That might be easy.
I'm going to, okay, put that tip in. Sort alphabetically. If I can spell. Okay, sort alphabetically. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the help. Okay, so we went in again through the account and we scrolled down. It's not the communications tab, but it was the, I think it was contacts tab. I'm going to go down and look again. Oh, calls. Thanks, Lilith. All right. I'll get it eventually. Okay. Whoop. Went too far. Okay, so here are the subjects. And here just some notes. Make sure that it's meaningful, like outreach for ITQA. We did Colorado Shines reapplication. Outbound if it's called providers. Inbound if they called you. So you can record calls that are coming to you as well. Contact type. Here's where the call, in-person, visit, email, etc. is. Related to, select the provider account. That's if we were doing communications, if this would automatically be populated if you started from the account. Communication, this will be outreach for outreach calls. Let me go back in. So see, Katie, I'm just going back in and I can re-edit this. And I'm just back in the same place we started. Oh, here's where that outbound inbound is. And then the contact made is under the status. Related to, oh, in this case, it would be account because we came in through there. Let me go back to the help. Oops. Here's the primary funding stream. We put in RTT there. Outreach type was, we did, let's see. Where's the outreach type? Spending outreach, communication purpose. You don't have to do the duration. The start date though, oh, there it is, right there, start date and time. So do include about what time it was, and then save it. Okay, so we can import bulk communication for the emails you send. In reports, there's these 5 different or 4 different reports. Actually, there's 5 reports. You can create your own report, but you can also ask me to create one for you. So for example, if we were doing this RTQI, so we'll go to this report, eligible providers. Okay, so I have reports on my main area. You might have to click on your more. So I'll click reports here. And then I'm doing the wild card, eligible, however you spell it. I'll put EL. And see if I get, oh, let me clear because I'm sure there's more than that. Oh, I see I have funding streams, so okay. So I have to clear again. There. I hit the wrong button. So I put the first few letters in and I get the eligible reports. There are more here because I only typed a few. So, and I have access. So the one that we're going to look at is eligible providers, the RTTQI. And this would be specifically for your council. Okay. From the run report drop box, click the down. So generally you should be, you want to send an email to all of these folks. Okay, I am going to, see it says run, instead of click run report, you click this arrow and you choose export. Okay, here's that run report. I'm going to choose export. Okay, and there are, because I have everybody here, this is the export list. Okay. Once in Excel, make sure you deduplicate your email address before you use the list to send a mass mail. You will have to duplicate if you have the same primary contact for more than one site. So one way to do that is just sort it. See, where are the emails? Okay, it looks like somebody that has done this recently, are you sending it to the primary contact?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So actually, okay. Data, sort. I'm sorting it on primary contact. Wow. Okay, I did it name instead of, so I'll do the sort again. Primary contact email. That's what I wanted. See, and you can see right now that there are a whole bunch of duplicates. One way you can, it does, let's see, I'm going to see if it gives help on deduplicating. Okay, the way that I would do it, we could have somebody else. So I'm just going to create a pivot table. So I clicked on Insert Pivot Table, and I'm going to choose that primary contact email. See, and if you look here, only each email is shown once. So that's one way. Does somebody else have another way that they use for deduplicating?
There's actually a deduplicate button in Excel. Have you used that before, Rick?
I have never used it. Cool.
Okay. So go back to the report and select all.
So select the whole.
Select the whole table, yeah.
Okay.
And then go into data up at the top. Oops. And then there is a remove duplicate.
Oh, cool. Yes, you can tell I've been using Excel for way too many years. This is so much easier. Okay.
So click that, and then what you want to do is unselect all. So unselect all, and then you only want to do it based on the email address, primary contact. Yep.
I'm so excited. You taught me something. Okay, so it removed 424 duplicate values found and removed. So Katie says you made, it's the little things, you just made my day, and you made my day too, Sharon, so thank you.
Hooray! Well, the one scary thing about doing it this way is that it doesn't tell you who it removed. So this is really good for if you know that the emails are all in there that you want to send a mass email, you can deduplicate and then you have the right emails. But you know, for purposes of the mass upload of information into Sugar for communications, you want to just use the raw report because you actually want to put it on each site record. So this is really good for sending out communications, but you want to use that raw report when you're importing information.
Sharon, that's what I was wondering, is that we're really wanting to track this by program,
right?
Not necessarily by who we contacted at that program.
Right. So when Rick goes to import the report, then he can just run the report and then just import it off of that report. But when you go to actually email people, you don't want to email the same person 3 times, you know, so you want to get that email list deduplicated.
Yep. Okay.
Perfect.
So what I'm going to do is, because there's a question to redo that, so it's easy enough. Stay on this page. Okay. All right. So I was in the reports, and I went to, instead run report, I did export. Okay, and I opened up that Excel spreadsheet. Whoops. I have too much going on. Okay, so Christy, here is the list again, and Sharon's magic words are choose data, remove duplicates, and the important thing is only, so I'm going to unselect all and go down to that email. Primary contact email, so they only get one, and it says 424. So again, that was on data, remove duplicates. You're welcome. You're welcome, Kristen. Okay, so I'm back on the sheet. So we just deduplicated this, and what I might do, if I remember, is I'm going to make that note right here, since that was exciting for many of us, is I'll add that note in. Actually, whoops, my battery's running low. No. Is it the same?
No, Ms.
No. Yeah. So hold on just a sec.
It's not the same one?
No, that's an HP. This
Okay.
is a Dell.
I tried to come to your rescue.
Liz was trying to come to my rescue, but I have a different computer and I didn't want it to blow up. Okay. So this is the outreach to providers. Okay. So if you guys have comments on this, you know, you can have me edit this. So I'm going to put a tip here in Excel. Use data tab. Let's see, data. Where was it? So data, remove duplicates.
You might also want to note that you want to unselect all first and then only dedupe on one thing.
Oh, good
That's
point.
probably going to be...
Data deduplicates. Unselect all and select only one email. Because it could be a different email depending on whatever list you have.
Mm-hmm.
Does that look okay?
That's perfect.
Okay. There we go. We're improving our help as we speak.
On that one, did you say you need to make it one email?
Yeah, select only, yeah. Good catch, Lisa. It's a good thing there's so many of you on the call, you can correct me as I go. Select only one. Select only one email field.
Email column. How about that?
Column. Okay. Good. We got a committee to help. Okay. All right. Enter an email activity in the communications module and then request support. Okay, we already entered that, right? Entered the communications model to import the rest of the email activity by sending an email with the target list report you used and the sample email activity. Okay, so I am going to where is my, okay, that's the report, but I want the I should have kept the window open. Luckily, I remember, Bill. Okay, here's the email. So what I'm doing is going to that, and I'm going to just copy the whole URL up here. And down here at the bottom, I'll submit the ticket. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put my email in. Subject, mass update, email, please. Okay, dear Rick, I know you're not doing anything. Do this now. So say something. Here is the original email, and then you're going to attach. Oh, I need to save that. Here's the reports. Save it like file save as. And you would call it something that would be meaningful to you and I, so we can do RTT email update on 6/3/2016. Okay, this comma delimited is fine, because that's the way what I'm going to be using. Whoops. Where's my... Did I close the the cancel? I may have canceled that, so... So you would include the URL and then the file that you saved. And then you would put your council, and the question type would be import or mass update. Okay, Katie says that she got it. That who asked the original question. Is there any other questions on this particular, the mass update? But one of the key things is finding this. So again, that is on the, I'm going to publish this. It's under the, when you first get in, it's under outreach and enrollment of providers, and then outreach to providers, and then we were on recording outreach, and it goes through all the steps. There'll be the video that you can watch as well as what we just went through. So good question, Katie. Are there any other questions? You're welcome, Katie. Teresa says, yes, thanks everyone, that helps a lot. Is there any way to remove Bill's test site post from showing on the spending section? I will ask that. Let me look. Let me ask that, let me research that, Nicole. Because there's
So
more,
it could be that Bill's childcare test is just on a team that's on a council team instead of just on our test team.
Oh,
So we
okay.
just probably want to
Let me
put
look.
the team.
Okay. Oh, it's under,
It should be under admin. If you scroll up,
yeah, I'm,
and then admin tab. All right, so it looks like it's on Boulder's team, so we can remove them. We can remove them from DECC also.
okay. Should I put it under ECHO, or is there a test one?
Actually, you know what? I think you'll need to change the county because the county must be Boulder.
Oh,
Because it automatically populates.
okay. I'll fix it. I'll fix this.
Great.
You're welcome, Nicole. I've noticed some changes on our council requisitions. This is causing me some challenges with non-OEC requisition. Is there any update information to be shared about these updates?
Can I get my requisitions name back? I think that might have been an unintended consequence, Lisa, so I'll ask Bill about that. There are some new fields that have been added for requisitions. Those are currently being tested, and all fields are running in parallel right now. But at some point, we will make the official switch where we'll be using the new fields and not the old fields. But the names of the requisitions should remain consistent. Lisa, would you mind sending me an example link of one that's not correct and what the name should be?
Will do.
Thank you, Lisa.
I figured it was an unintended consequence issue. Was just all of a sudden we couldn't find that requisition, and so when I went to search in it, I can find it by going to an old record that had the old name, and when and it takes me to a different name when I click through. So.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's probably we're using a different field than what the field is calculated on, and so because the name is calculated, but we will correct that.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Nicole, if I don't change it all correctly, let me know. Okay, it sounds like there are no more questions, or it looks like it. So thank you all for a good meeting. Thanks for the questions, and I especially appreciate all the people that speak up whenever I make a goof.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks.
How was the anniversary?
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye. I wanted to see if there were any last minute questions.